salvation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect on selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a foundation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the change. And all the things that we feel happen and back blue skies. I don't think that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Easy, wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Na 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 na. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. For so what we can not place our calling. Get up, make every day count up. Wasting people to your back with your road. Where you need to look and tune in forward or in your vehicle. Not a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's a show, but no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. Double your bed. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. For so what we are not place for calling. Be yourself, see yourself. This is the show that people believe our hope for no needless reason. Nobody feel about this. They fight with dealing. It's not a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect on selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a foundation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to build a day. And all the things that we feel happen and black and blue skies. I don't think that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Easy, wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Another day is here. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. We gotta keep moving. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Billies. Wake up, Billies. But so what we are not place for calling. Double a day.
Welcome. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's Thursday. It's the 19th day of December 2024, and we welcome you to the program this morning. As you know, we have certain steps that we go through. It begins with giving you a look at the weather and then bringing you up to date on the latest news. And then we begin our conversation a little bit after 7 o'clock. So we go now to Ms. Kamabach for update on the weather. Ms. Kamabach?
Good morning, Belize. Relatively moist northerly airflow prevails. The 24-hour forecast for Belize and her coastal waters calls for cloudy skies today with sunny breaks, and high temperatures today are expected to reach 83 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 85 inland, and 71 over the mountains. Tonight, the skies will be partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times, with low temperatures of 24 along the coast to 70 inland and 66 in the higher elevations. A few showers or periods of rain will develop mainly offshore and some coastal areas this morning. By afternoon, these activities will move over inland areas with the chance for inland isolated thunderstorms. Tonight and tomorrow morning, showers will be isolated except for the south and offshore, where a few more can be expected. The winds will blow from the northwest at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state will be slight. A low tide will occur at 7:30 a.m., followed by a high at 1:27 in the afternoon, and a low occurs at 6:34 p.m. and a high at 12:41 tomorrow morning. The sun will rise at 6:17 and set at 5:22 this evening. The moon set at 1 minute past 10 this morning and comes up at 9:41 tonight. The outlook for Friday night is for cloudy intervals, and showers will be isolated except for a few more offshore and south. In the sargassum forecast, impacts, if any, from sargassum will continue to be minimal, as observations show little to no sargassum over area. And that's your morning forecast that was prepared here at the National Meteorological Service.
Private radio in Belize since 1989. Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
A Guatemalan armed forces, GAF, naval vessel was spotted inside Belizean waters by the Belize Coast Guard on Tuesday morning. Yesterday, the Prime Minister, Honorable John Bersenio, told the media that his government takes any such incursion into Belizean territory by the GAF seriously, and outlined how these incidents are normally addressed.
We take any incident serious. Anytime the GAF would enter, or the Guatemalan armed forces would enter our borders, or sometimes they do it innocently, they don't realize they're in it, and other times they do. But whenever that happens, we take it seriously, and we would go and confront them and inform them that they're in Belizean waters. Most instances, they would leave without any incidents. Sometimes they would argue, but they leave. And that's important for us, to be able for them to understand that we are monitoring them, we're watching what they're doing, and also at the same time, I think pretty much in every instance, we write to the OAS and write to a copy to them, to the Guatemalan government, to point out that they have once again been infringing in our territory.
Was asked to address those Belizeans who feel that the government is too passive in responding to such incursions by the GAF.
What do they expect us to do? Shoot them out of the water? I mean, there are 15, 20,000 of them, fully equipped. Obviously, we need to be able to be firm but diplomatic, making sure that they understand that they're in our waters and that we will not allow them to come into the water, into our waters, and then use our diplomatic channels. And as much as we want to do more, what else can we do? And whatever citizen would say that, then I will ask them to advise. I want to hear the advice. What do they do?
Richard, there is a lack of respect by the Guatemalan armed forces. They were all the way in our waters. They weren't near the border.
I will repeat again, whenever that happens, you go to them and tell them they are within our waters and they need to leave, and they leave. They don't put up a fight, they leave.
The Belmopan City Council is moving to put pressure on businesses who are repeat offenders of supplies control regulations. In other words, businesses that engage in price gouging. Yesterday, Controller of Supplies, Lennox Nicholson, said the municipality of Belmopan has expressed interest in being kept abreast of which businesses are offenders, as they have a regulatory function when it comes to the issuance of trade license.
The Belmopan City Council in particular has taken keen interest in the business activities of establishments in their municipality. We have had meetings and discussions with the Belmopan City Council, and we have provided them with a report specific to their municipality, identifying which establishments have been found in violation from the start of our activities, what products were involved, and basically detailing those information to them, because they also have a regulatory function over the conduct of business in their municipality, right?
Okay.
To the extent that they issue trade licenses and things like that. So that is another activity that has been done.
Mayor Pablo Kawich confirmed that their intent is to penalize offending businesses. In the first instance, they would be warned, but if they continue to violate regulations, then their trade license would be revoked. On Tuesday, we reported that BDF soldiers who are scheduled to be deployed in early 2025 to Haiti have been complaining that the allowances they are set to receive while in Haiti are too low and not in line with what they should get. BDF Commander Brigadier General Azriel Loria responded to the allegations and compared it to the time when he went on such a deployment.
Let me tell you an anecdote of using me as an example. I really don't want to do it, but then I will tell you what. And it's a bunch of us, it's a platoon of us that deployed back in '94. And then we had rotations. All that we were provided in terms of allowance per diem was $5 a day, $5 a day to deploy in hostile situations. And we deployed under Chapter 7 of the UN operation. So we were allowed to use our weapons, deadly force, as the case may be. $5. We did it. I did it because I wanted the experience. The soldiers wanted the experience. And we did it from the heart, from the willing to serve, from the willingness to serve, go in there to Haiti and try to make a difference. Now, the allowances that they will be provided, the soldiers, the 30 or so soldiers that will be deploying, they are going to get $50 a day, plus the allowances that you have, $50 a day, plus what you have mentioned about the risk and hardship allowance, in addition to the 50, so you could do the math.
The prices of products that are not zero rated or standard rated vary from store to store, and in some cases the difference in the markup is exponential. Customers do not have the luxury to go from store to store checking who has the better prices. And so in a recent interview with Michelle Longsworth, the Director General of Belize Tax Service, we asked if government agencies have any kind of control over this, or if it is entirely at the discretion of the seller.
General consumer protection and the markup that businesses place on their products. Like, I don't know that we have any cap. Like, people can put whatever markup they want on their products. So I'm not even sure if that's a question for you and if it's one that you're willing to answer.
No, I mean, because that would come from the other side where that is monitored, and I think that in collaboration with them, it has to be where that is properly monitored. I can tell you there's ongoing collaboration between us, specifically due to inflation, that when they get reports, they forward those reports to us from a consumer that says GST is being charged on something that it shouldn't. So there's collaboration between the entities. And I think that during this time, we have to ensure that that collaboration continues so that we can advise them if we get those reports that they can act on it.
Controller of Supplies, Lennox Nicholson, confirmed to Creme News and XTV that there are no regulations or laws currently regarding a cap on the markup that businesses can place on goods that are not price control or zero or standard rated.
Everything that I say have to be within the context of the regulations which I manage, because we don't act rogue, right? In order for us to take enforcement action, we must have the authority of the law behind us. And if we don't, then we need to make recommendations, perhaps that the regulations be adjusted or tweaked to give us the authority to deal with certain things. Right? So the idea of putting a general cap on prices that's an interesting one. I must admit it is not one that I have studied in any detail, so that I would not be in a position to give a complete response in terms of a position that I would advise on that matter, no?
And because
but
you
I understand completely what you're saying.
And because you wouldn't know if this is something that's done elsewhere.
Yes, it's not something that we have reviewed, right? And I can tell you it would be a huge undertaking.
Controller of Supplies, Lennox Nicholson, yesterday reported that 12 businesses have been flagged for infractions of the supplies control regulations for December. Of those, 4 resulted from reports emanating out of the first GST-free weekend. The offending businesses have all been ticketed. Nicholson explained that they expect there was an effect after word started running that tickets were being issued.
Our enforcement efforts have not waned, it has not stopped. We maintain our presence in the market on a day-to-day basis to ensure compliance with the prices regulations. Now, specifically with respect to the GST-free days, there were some information relayed to us coming out of the first weekend. And from out of that, 4 tickets have been issued. And those are not for violations having anything to do with tax system and so on, because we don't have jurisdiction over that. Like I mentioned, the key thing is that our surveillance efforts is continuous, right? It's not one-off. We maintain our presence in the market, although we may not, from time to time we will have to give additional updates to the public,
yes,
so that they know that we continue to do that surveillance.
Was it a case where these were different kinds of infractions, or merely that it came through or as a result of that exercise, but the same kinds of infractions that you all were noticing and are going after?
What you tend to find is that entities that tend to flout one set of regulations, you tend to find them in breach of other regulations as well. So it's basically an approach where you try to sidestep certain things, and we got the information, we acted on it, and we identified the violations. One of the benefits of that, though, is that, because needless to say, in some of the instances, they were not very pleased with us, no? What happens is that when you make the intervention and you take the action, word goes out quickly. So we are hoping that the fact that we managed to intervene in these particular transactions, it would give persons who may have a similar mindset pause to reconsider the approach to business that they're taking.
Despite the fact that some may consider that $500 fine a small one.
Right, but you see, the thing about it is that the compliance is not only from our angle. We are dealing with certain things from the supplies control aspect, right? But if a if an entity or if an establishment is in breach of regulations relating to the tax system, right, and the tax regulations, not because we issued a ticket or identified a violation for them, means that they cannot be dealt with under the other regulations that the Belize Tax Service manage. So the approach that we're trying to push is a whole of government approach, where all the entities responsible for regulating these entities, if violations are cited under the various regs, everybody has a responsibility to ensure that they're dealt with as per their regulations.
Nicholson remarked that the incident a few weeks ago where an employee of the Supplies Control Unit was assaulted by a business owner did not have a deterrent effect on him or the rest of his staff.
I don't think you know the particular young man quite well, no? Well, things like this have a tendency to rile him up even more, all right? So if he was giving 85, when you do something like this, he keeps coming to me to ask me where I want him to go next. So that's the nature of the people that I have working for me. The government, when this unit went on its own, the government of Belize told me I had latitude to pick my staff. So the personnel working under me are people who I have trained for many years, who I have tremendous confidence in, and who I know are not necessarily subject to intimidation. No, so this person that had that particular situation is right back in the field. He never stopped doing his work, and he is actively engaging with the police officers managing the case to ensure that when he needs to show up to court, he has everything in order to go there and ensure that the judicial process address that matter in whatever way it sees fit. So no, we're not running from anybody.
And that's our news package for today, Thursday, the 19th day of December 2024. There's more news coming up in the program that follows us, which is the Morning Stew, an update at 12, one at 3, and a full news broadcast at 5:15, all on CREM Radio. Here on XTV, we bring you the entire news package at 6 o'clock this evening. It's now 3 minutes to 7 o'clock. We'll take a break and come back. After this break, we'll open the phone lines for our conversation for today.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports.
right, welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. It's a Thursday morning. I want to shout out two persons that I think yesterday we didn't give enough attention to, and that is our brother Peter. We think about you all the time, my brother, and you are absolutely one of the key persons here in WUB in the morning. So we needed to recognize you and remember you, Brother Peter. And of course, we talked a lot about our brother Clifton Lewis, who has been nicknamed the Glue. And really, if you understand the context of that, he in fact holds things together. So respect and blessings to both our brothers who contributed so much to the 25-year history of WUB. All right, our phone lines are open. There were a couple of calls we were getting during the news. If you'd like to make your call now, you can at 280-5848. 280-5848. Somebody texted me this morning to say, is Mr. Nicholson and the other controllers, are they going into the market? Are they going into areas like Benny's and looking at the prices for construction materials, etc.? Welcome, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Following on the text, this visceral reaction to the monitoring, let's say, for not to say policing of the price gougers, and as the journalist says, she emphasized the word markup, the markup that they put. And as I said in my text, construction material that people need for their homes, like zinc, chain link fence, bolts, screws, and drill if you want to do things for yourself because you don't find much workers out there. They're all about $100, but if it's only food, if they're only interested in food, fine, as I said in my text. But Mr. Nuri, nobody goes to the bloody market. Nobody goes to the market. On Tuesday, potatoes are at $4 a pound. Friday, in 3 days' time, it's at $4.55 a pound. And this is where the poor people buy. Nobody goes there. Nobody checks out all these oranges from Mexico at $2.50 for one orange.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So, what, okay, you get your GST, which I think people will benefit, that's fine. But my take on it is that we get into the inflation for 4 years, crippling some families because it's really, the inflation was really bad with fuel prices, etc. Then cripple you, then they give 2 days or a year on each course and we will still be thankful for that. That's my take on it. But then maybe I'm too radical.
No,
but what I'm saying is nobody goes to the market, Mr. Nuri. All these people, Mr. Nicholson said, yes, the people know what they're about and they say it, so practically that's what he was saying, and say it to me, and then we about go to the market, man. Minister Dolores said that sweet pepper, for example, that's one item I remember, cannot have more than 15% as a markup or profit or whatever you want to put. So the market one day they told me that sweet pepper was at like $5.50 or $6 a pound. So I asked the market stall person to show me the invoice of the purchase of that sweet pepper so that I could calculate my 15%.
Did they?
I was told, when I can't use the language I was told, but one guy told me that, I said, but it's against this what the government said. He said, government no rule market, I sell my stuff with the price that I want to sell my stuff. Period. So why doesn't everybody go there? They don't have a farmer. This is the thing with farmer and informal, you see. They don't have, I don't know how they purchase it. The truck come and I just loan cash. I don't know if they get a neat piece of paper that they buy 20 pounds of sweet pepper for so much. Nobody knows. That is a paperless trade at the market. So how the hell we are knowing that it's 15% markup? So what's the use of getting a corned beef can for 12.5% less of the GST and get this all this glory when they can't buy the bloody onion and everything for going to make a meal? It goes, did you go to the market with Nuri?
Do I? Yes. But I don't go deep into the market. I just get my fruits, you know.
So have you seen the little bags of like the small sweet peppers that they put in little bags so that people take it like for $2?
Yeah, you and I talked about that about 3 or 4 months ago. That you can't touch your vegetables now because your vegetables are already packaged for you. And watch, because there might be some spoiled ones inside that package likewise.
Well, yeah, the lettuce one. The other thing is that they pick the smallest. Instead of somebody buying a pound of something, they put 2, 3 things away, whatever, I ask them to wait for me to refuse. They had 4 onions in a bag, and they tell me that it was $8.50. So I tell them, wait for me. No, but either I take the bag or not take the bag.
Oh, well, I don't run into that because that's just a bad business person, that's all.
But isn't that $4,000?
Well, that's just...
Isn't that to the morality of it? Because
Yeah.
business.
It's good manners. I mean, if I'm buying from you and I ask you to wait, you know, you should. I mean, in the old days, the scale was right there. You could wait yourself. But now, my experience is then they look around to find the scale, that sort of thing. But if she or he is telling you, take it or leave it, that's bad business practice.
Well, but the thing is that some people get it, so if the person that gets it, and it's not weighed, and it works out to be half a pound, let's see, but they charge you $1 pound, isn't that,
It is gouging, yeah, it is gouging.
That's what gouging?
Yeah.
So, this is a call out to Mr. Nicholson, and I've called on this on several talk shows. I myself am up to the top of my head hearing that when they go around the business and when they hear the funding, like they run and they say it for week at a room with it up there and all of this gibberish. Go to the market, please. Ask them for their invoices. Check say if the sweet potato are 15% markup, or the other one, I think Minister Dolores gave a list of what was 15%. But at the market, you don't have any recourse to ask for the paper. Then cost you.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Nicholson, please, when you go to the market. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. That's if they're not going into the markets, you know, that's a major area that everybody goes, especially people who are cooking. And if you're only going to grocery stores and passing the market, that's a great oversight. I don't know that they're in fact doing that, but if they are, you need to include the market, because a lot of us spend in the market to prepare our meals, and it's not just what we buy at the groceries. Our numbers here, 280-5848, 280-5848. I also wanted to say that the issue of the Guatemalan Navy in Belizean waters is, this year, 2024, we've seen several infractions, not only on our waterways, but still in the Sarstoon likewise. Yes, welcome, caller.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Good morning.
First of all, say congratulations on 25 years of
Yes, sir.
service to community. Whether you agree with what Ken said, Crum has been there as a voice of the people, and I think we have to appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
And I listened to the show in the morning and realized this. I went on the show there to really call in, and even, well, you ever see this guy, Piers Morgan, on YouTube?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, because he presents, if you listen to him, you're going to good grip of what is going on, because it talks to everybody on the ground. I think Crum going to go down.
Yeah.
The
only area of Piers Morgan that he was really off, he slightly corrected himself over the last year. But Piers Morgan was one of those who refused to look at the atrocities of the Gaza as a genocide. And he argued with almost every guest that came on, because I like Piers Morgan. I like his style. But when it got into looking at this, one of the areas that he kept trying, he asked almost every one of his guests. He said, well, don't you think that Hamas was also, so in other words, because we would point out to him the atrocities going up in the 10,000 and 20,000 and now beyond 45, he still keeps saying, but don't you think that what the Hamas did, that they caused this? So that's my only comment on this.
And he persists with that, and that is true. But the point is that once you get past that, you understand that if you listen to what his guests are saying, and many have been stunned and upfront with the information that makes you stop and say, well, this 1 minute, you know, when you think about the numbers, and then I just saw a story on YouTube where this guy resigned, who was a part of the State Department's chief over there in charge of Gaza, and he resigned. I said, time and right for 8 children. He said, and he realized that the young people are going to allow me to do anything with them. And that is a sad situation. And even, I'm saying though, at Christmas, you have to understand ceasefire me. But then it come again, and when I see two sisters, the two that are just not a scholarship, and they back on a fruitful career, you know, they just because I don't know,
And in addition to that, and I know you got your point, you didn't call on this subject, but I just read last night that this morning, which is they are way ahead of us in terms, but on Thursday morning, they commenced the bombing of Yemen and the Houthi rebels in Yemen. So they've expanded it now from Gaza, Lebanon, the Golan Heights. So,
where does it stop? And you know,
because the UN can't seem to stop them. The United States will not stop them. You know, some of the Europeans are now starting to, you know, to have questions. And outside of, you know, we need to recognize that Belize was one of the first countries to come out and condemn the atrocities. We came out as early as November of last year.
Okay, let me say.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Well, you have to applaud the Prime Minister. And I have not always been a fan of Danny Hussein, you know. I don't know, I'm a bigger fan right now, but there are two things that he has done. And one was that in me that child to say, you know what, this wrong, you know, and out at the jump street and he said, he put that prevention. The Belize said, well, we know that there are many Belize who I spoke to who wasn't happy, but at the end of the day, that was our official stance.
It was a good move.
The next one, I don't know how it might not be in line with your reasoning on this one, but this Guatemalan intrusion, and when the Prime Minister was asked what did I do, the response was like, what did I do? Now this, that is perfect response, that's very close, because what would you have been do? What would you as an individual do if you were in charge of this now? And you see this happen, and you talk about 18 million people. You don't want to take place with them. So we are going along with them. We're going along with them. So anyway.
I can comment and say that I think you know my personal position in terms of Guatemala, and of course you know what is Cremandala's position on this matter. But yes, I did read, because I usually read the news instead of watch it, where the Prime Minister threw the question back at the reporter and said, well, what exactly would you want us to do? What would you do if you were in that situation? And I think that is a provocative question, because many of us who are on the sidelines complaining about this issue, feeling very passionate about this issue, but having no power to be able to execute a change. But if you make a theoretical question, suppose you were the Prime Minister, what would you do?
Yeah, but what kind of change would you propose? When you got to make a change, give me an example of any change that you would implement in or with the ground of this state.
It's a good question to throw back at a reporter, and it's a question for most of us who have been complaining about the Guatemalans and their affairs and their disrespect of our territorial integrity. It's important for us to ask ourselves the question, what would you do in a case like this? How do you internationalize this? How do you continue to push it out? How do you execute not necessarily a military response, because clearly that would be foolhardy, but is there more that you can do? Can we make it a little bit more stringent, a little bit more aggressive in our posture? Or do we take the position that all governments, blue and red, have taken, which is to say that, look, we've got to stay diplomatic with these people because we don't have the strength to be able to deal with them outside of diplomacy. So our diplomacy then becomes an issue of, you know, you got your head in a tiger mouth, how do you take it out? They kind of parables come to mind, no?
Softly was the answer to that. Softly.
Yeah.
You're not belligerent. You don't get like you know, how big and bad and whatnot.
Yeah.
Diplomacy is the only way. And
Yeah.
it's intelligent way, it's civilized way, and the way that the world understands. And
Yeah.
this is what we have so we can see so many problems with this Middle East thing and Palestine.
Yeah, we can also see this with the Taiwanese and the way in which they have to deal with the aggressive posture of China. But they, as they've been growing over the last 25, 30 years in their military, they're also starting to fly around and let you know that I have an ability to at least defend myself. Certainly I can't beat one big country like you, but I got a little bit more aggression than I had, say, 15 years ago because I'm building up my military. So our situation is kind of similar in the sense that we have this massive country that's claiming this small country and provoking this small country continuously on their seas.
By the way, what's your opinion on the drones flying over New Jersey?
Well, you know, G. Mike, I've been trying to figure it out. You know, I've not seen it. Yeah, it's strange that the United States has not come up with an unofficial position, and it's almost as if... Huh? Say that again?
And he said the one that would go on with this.
Yeah, well, where is he saying it's coming from?
No, he said the army knows, the government knows, and they know what to do, but then...
Well, then inform your public, man. Inform why you got people on the east coast of the United States, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, people that panic. You got people who think that spaceship... Yeah.
And these things aren't inexpensive, so they just get there and control it. Let them go billion, let them go billion, let them go...
Yeah.
It's a little funny story there.
It is, really, yeah.
For you to just stop. But anyway, when we will fire up your phone and give me the opportunity to talk to us how to problem, right?
Oh, you don't get there yet.
Huh?
I say you don't get there yet.
And you know, I tell you, we start from one thing to the other.
All right,
so,
good.
Listen, and I hear that I beg the pardon from the listeners and all of the money. I will accept the same thing if I hear anybody to monopolize the areas like that.
Yes, sir.
But not every day they let me in, so when I get in here,
Man, stop that, G. Man, you get in all the time, my brother.
I
wonder if AI can track how many calls you get from specific numbers and pump it out to us and say, G. Mike, He has called about 300 times in 2023. And just to say,
Man, I'm going with that Israeli propaganda. Who is true?
all right. I'm just learning about this AI's possibilities.
I don't want to complain that I know a car idea when it's a Gmail show. That's it. I don't want to say that.
No, that's not go on. That is thinking that has existed from the beginning of talk show. From the beginning of talk show, people believe that you got some people that say, no, this is G Mike. No, he can't come in. There's no such monitor, definitely not at WUB.
I'm pleased to hear that. I'm comforted in
Absolutely, brother. No censorship here unless you're going off. And I mean, you and Mo's got some personality issues there.
If you got that discussion, Mr. Minister, to say, well, how you put some person to go off when you know we in the grass. So that I don't think you either is or you isn't.
Yeah.
And it's an argument, no?
Yeah.
So listen, can I?
I got 2 cents cam coming up, but you got the next 2 minutes free. I won't disturb you.
We got this Charlie Burton Park thing coming up. This fellow who every year go along and give me gifts and whatnot to people.
Right.
He said this year he put Charlie Burton Park, drop offs and these gifts.
Good.
Fortunately, they're mostly for younger children. So when they had back on the Bible, what I'm a gift, and to understand, at some point they stop believing in Santa Claus. Santa Claus, and when the car goes up, they don't have time, right? So anyway, it's a Saturday. They got we usually don't have some challenge put it at Mr. Jenkins' backyard, and we usually just start up like a sleigh and take a sleigh ride. We're not a snow, but we could get to the closest we could, right? Strictly Saturday if we want. Now, we want to invite you to stop by. We're going to a big football game, exhibition game. That comes on about at 4 o'clock. Then we're going to eat small game before. So that's what we have to make sure today. We got to give giving food. I want to invite everybody to stop on Charlie Burton Park. Give me a street just before the boulevard. Nuri, thank you, sir.
Yes, my brother. Take care. All right, it's 7:29, and we stop now for 2 cents cam, sponsored by Fort Point Security, and then we take our first break after that. This is WUB on a Thursday morning. Our number's here, 280-5848. You're welcome to join us and get in the conversation this morning. As we said earlier, and we kind of said our points there with G. Mike, the situation with the Guatemalan military, which seems it's different than what we have here in Belize, in the sense that our civilian is over our military. In Guatemala, it appears that the civilian is equal with or under the military. Welcome, caller. Welcome. Are you there? Welcome.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, man. Welcome.
Yeah, brother.
Yes,
good
man.
morning.
Morning, my brother.
Big up again to G. Mike. No, the work way to do with them kids.
Indeed, boy. Indeed.
Yeah, we need more of that. I got my deep part where I do G. Mike guy part where they do all I want to put honey that is there.
Yes.
Got all our children, you know?
Yeah. And there's so many lots around. And, you know, I remember some years ago, maybe as much as maybe 15 years ago, sitting with G. Mike and looking at this lot where, you know, just full of bush, right up to his fence. And, you know, he expressed the vision, and I'm saying way back that, boy, I want to do something with this park because, you know, he just did it. And eventually, he picked up this vision. And he's pretty much worked it single-handedly in the sense that he was able to tap into so many different people. The city council, going back from Bradley's time, continuing on now to Mayor Bernard's time. He was able to tap into Buddy Brown and some of the other Belizeans in diaspora that identified, and he was able to get people in the surrounding area to give support. And the way I look upon it, and I know your work in Racecourse Street area, but there's so many lots all over the place that the same thing can be done, because that park there that G. Mike has developed cannot satisfy the amount of young people that need that same kind of access to a recreation space. And if you've passed around there lately, he continues to improve it. I mean, you know, it started with just some swing, and while he cleared the area, and, you know, now it's gone to an actual, I don't want to say state of the art, but it has improved significantly. And I just to add to what you just said, that, you know, we need others to do the same, you know.
Yeah, and you have to get that support. Everybody has to put in, you know.
Indeed.
Because he alone can't do it.
Yeah.
So
but you know, when you get a catalyst,
you have to start from that, you know, the area.
Yeah.
You know.
Once you get a catalyst leader,
you have to do a good job that you have.
Again, peel off. Yeah.
Well, I touch on that situation with the EDF going to ETA. I don't really know with it. I for one don't really know with it. And I don't care what it's about CARICOM, and, you know, with every CARICOM and this a whole organization, you don't have to go. And we don't have to send the troops there. We don't have no problem with their people there. That's how I see. I always remember Muhammad Ali when they tried to send out Vietnam. And they said, you don't have no problem with people where you go fight for. You don't have no problem. That's just what we want. We don't start that. You got NATO, you got United Nations, all that could get together and say, well, send troops. Say, why they not do it? Why they not send troops? NATO, all of them, the Palestinian situation, you the people in Gaza. You see, these organizations are set up with certain agenda to benefit them. They're not to benefit the world. And not to see people with a chance, somebody, why make we go and stop that happen? You see? So you want to put me in a situation, or put we people at harm, fight over the business either. But we leaders have to understand that certain thing where, you know, because you there with the organization, I want to send my soldiers there. If one of them brother get killed or so, they run to their family back here. So they hear the money where they want to get. I listened to, I don't know if it's a general or lieutenant last night. When they deploying, so we don't $5. A lot of your business at that time.
But that was in 1994, and that's the Brigadier General, Laria.
Yeah, that's your business. If you want to go and you want to take that, you can't tell nobody to take that, and the only that they may give you and you gone. I understand the army and the discipline and everything, but you gotta tell me up to make one stand too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a volunteer thing. I imagine that you get the call, and if you decide you want to put your name on the list to go, then you can go. I don't think you're being ordered to go. So it is a kind of a semi, I don't want to say volunteer, but you know, you don't necessarily, you're not ordered to go. You say, I want to go on this mission. Like for example, Larry say he wanted the personal experience of having been in that, in harm's way, really. So, you know, but it's
yeah. What I'm saying is this. All right. So we want to go. And we will make the decision to go. But then the incentive, when they tell you have to find this by your own, you have to find that by your own.
Yeah.
The money when they hand you, they might even have family back there.
Yeah. I don't.
Yeah, that's the thing for you. I go out there. You got a family back there. What happened to insurance? What's something happened to you? What happened to my family?
Yeah.
All these things have to be in that place.
Yeah.
This is not just right, so. So the minister could take their family members, they want to go out there, defend that they are go out there. And this is what it said. We have to be as a country, watch this thing for a broader base. This is not just because in a CARICOM decide that you are sent 10, I have sent 10. It's not about so.
Yeah.
It's a rise to the deal with. And so what happened in Gaza, thousands of people are dead, so we don't care about that.
Yeah.
Let's kill them. NATO. Why they can't step in and help their people?
Yeah.
Why they can't step in? You know what's this? They happen every day in front of us. The children, the dead, the right on the ground. Why they not step?
And they still bomb, brother. They don't stop.
Steal the bomb.
Yeah.
But why NATO? United Nations all they not get together. The European nation and say, man, this have to stop. We want to send support to help their people against Israel, but Israel not a chance.
Exactly.
Israel we have to protect Israel. We don't defend against Israel.
Exactly.
We have to protect Israel.
Exactly.
And you put bomb there, you could kill millions of them to Israel. We there with them. You see?
Yeah.
All these organizations have the agenda. And not to help us in this region. They want to use we to go hurt our own people to benefit them. And this is what we have to look out for. We have to start look out for we don't know it.
Yeah.
There's nobody to look out for. We don't know the use we.
Well, you know.
And that is what I'm saying. We have to stand up. We smile, but we have to stand up.
You know, I think about it along this line too, brother. In the case of Haiti, this is Haitian killing Haitians, and so and they have formed the and I call them like organizations because they are organized. They call them gangs, and when we hear the word gang, it puts us in a frame of ordinary, reckless, crazy people. But obviously, these people have maintained a semblance of control over a completely disorganized society for many, many months now. And even the standing army and police in Haiti have not been able to bring these organized groups under control. And so it's Haitians fighting Haitians. And so we are now supposedly, as CARICOM, and Haiti is our brother, that we are supposed to send some help in there in order to correct the situation. But this is not coming from CARICOM. This is coming from the United States. It is the United States whose policy over the last 50 years is what got Haiti in the condition that they are now. They have been supporting from Papa Doc and then Baby Doc and then all the other regimes after that to bring the confusion that exists in Haiti today. So you are the one that caused that. Now, you don't want to go yourself. You can't go because you were there in the 60s and the 70s and you got slapped in your face. Then the opportunity for Aristide, a real grassroots, a person who I personally met when I was there at KPFK, Belize Caribbean Pulse, very humble brother. Didn't realize that he was going to become the president when I was interviewing him. But he became the president. And the people of Haiti loved Aristide. And, you know, he looked as though he was trying to make some sense out of that confusion that was there. Before you know it, with the help of the United States, they got rid of Aristide, exiled him somewhere in Africa. The point I'm trying to make is that this is Haitians killing Haitians. And America, not wanting to be the one to go in, have used the United Nations to formulate this, this force, which is supposed to be headed by Kenya, and the Kenyans are supposed to get the financial and military backative from the United States military. And then to make it broadened, those who are not sure how they wanted to attach themselves to this deployment, but you have Jamaica and Bahamas and a couple of others, not the entire CARICOM, but select nations within the CARICOM fraternity have joined on, at least committed themselves to be a part of this deployment to supposedly quell and bring Haiti under control. But how are you going to bring Haiti under control? Are you going to be a deployment that stays there for 2-3 years as the Haitians work out their governance process? Do you think you're just going to go in there and zip-zap in 3 months you'll be able to come back to Belize? That's not how that situation works, because that has been made, Haiti has been made to unravel. And so it's not something you can go in 2 months or 1 year and that will be ready for you to come back to Belize. So we need to think through that process. Another thing is, if I understand what Mr. Laria is saying, the commandant is saying, this decision has not really even been finalized by our cabinet. He still has to, based on these 2 representatives that he has there on the CARICOM task force, to report back to him, him making a report then to Mr. Marin, the Minister of Defense, who will then make a report to the cabinet to decide if Belizeans will in fact go on this mission. So we are acting as though they're done today. They're not there yet. They have not even been given their marching orders to go. It's just this assumption that they will be going. Laria is saying they will be making like $100 a day. If they're there for 30 days, then you could imagine calculation with the maths, how much money they will make in a month's time. But you're right. What about insurance? What about in case of debt? What about these other elements that the American Army or the French Army or any of these European armies, when they deploy, they know exactly what they're getting into. They know exactly what they're getting into because they're not draft countries. They are volunteer armies like ours is a volunteer army. So you need to set it up so that we know exactly what our boys are going to be. Don't wait until one of them come back here in a body bag and then we get all excited trying to figure out what we should have figured out before they left, you see? So
this discussion, but Nuri, is like with the song they're around.
Yeah.
So this will get your people head and see what they happen out there, what they're going into. That's Russia. Russia, Ghana, Ukraine, think that a couple of weeks, so they still fight up to now.
Indeed.
They want to miscalculate. They want to have serious problems to happen.
Yes.
I remember now, you go in a territory where you don't know. Then people hate that you didn't know their territory. You see? So you cannot send the wee boy out there to benefit no outside agenda. Kind of outside agenda we go up there. No, we You don't do nothing to benefit this country. No outside agenda you ain't gonna deal with. I want to push you to do that. I don't last sight at it. Anytime you say thing like this, there will money involved, somebody will benefit financially. You remember this. Always a money that's somewhere linger, but somebody will benefit. But the person that's going out there with their life, they don't have no much benefit to get them. They don't have no much benefit for hidden agenda, always the guy these decisions. You remember that, my brother. You have a good day, brother. All
right. Good to hear from you, brother. Take care.
Sir.
All right. 3 minutes after 8 o'clock, we'll take our second break. And, well, let's take this call before we... Yeah, welcome, caller. Yeah, walaikum assalam, Dawood.
I tend to differ with the gentleman, Brother Nuri.
Sure.
War is nothing nice. War is death and destruction. So we glorify war at no time. Belize is part of Khartoum, and I think it is a humanitarian, it is a worthy cause for the soldiers to go to Haiti's aid. Remember Simon Bolivar with the struggle in Latin America. It was Haiti who assisted Simon Bolivar in the liberation of Venezuela and many Latin American countries, including struggles in the Caribbean. We know for a fact that Haiti is rich with precious minerals and rare earth. It's a vast amount of natural resources that Haiti have. And Haiti shone a light on the world when it being the first black republic in the Western Hemisphere, or in the world for that matter, fighting against Napoleon's great army to defeat Napoleon's great army. So it have always been that hate against Haiti for that great victory that was done by Toussaint and Dessalines and other revolutionary brothers and sisters over there. And the Haitian people have been paying for that ever since. So I applaud the Belize government, I applaud the Belize army in sending our brothers and sisters over there to help quell that internal conflict that is devastating, especially our poor brothers and sisters from Haiti. You're not looking at the money part of it, you're looking at the humanitarian part of it. And should Guatemala try anything funny with us here in Belize, we're going to need assistance from our brothers and sisters in CARICOM and Africa and the non-aligned countries. So, brother, we talk about going over there for money. Dispel that, man. No, we're going to Haiti's aid. Haiti was helpful back in the day. We might need Haiti's help one of these days when they get their house in order. So let's do what we could do now and pray for the best.
I don't think the brother, just to make you clear, I don't think the brother who called before was talking about money. But I'm glad that you're giving your opinion on the matter. And it is important to recognize that if we should need some help with Guatemala and their aggressive behavior, and should it go beyond just their incursion in the Sarstoon area and on our seas, we may in fact need to call on our neighbors in CARICOM to come to the assistance. But it's a little bit different. In the case of Haiti, you're dealing with civil war. You're talking about Haitians against Haitians. The enemy is within. Whereas if we had a problem with Guatemala, the enemy is without. And so that's a little bit different, you know. But it's a good call. Thank you very much, Dawood. Take care. All right, we'll take our next break and we'll be back after that. welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes. We're back to the phones. Our number here, 2805848. Before we take our call, I wanted to just make a comment on something I saw or read on the news this morning. And that is of an inmate who has been on remand. And it appears that he has been in remand from the time he was charged in 2000. And this is 2024. So he's been on remand for 24 years. And now they just say, well, you know, he's expressing or exhibiting mental problems, and so he has been released. So I just did a quick overview of some of the issue of remanded prisoners within the Caribbean, and it seems to be something that is quite frequent. There's a case now in Trinidad which is looking at this matter of the injustice of holding persons for such long periods. Remember now, remand is holding you before the trial. You're arrested and you're detained, but you're detained in remand. You're not serving your time. You're in remand until your trial. What some judges do is that in the final judgment, they take into consideration how long you've been locked down, and then that's added to, or maybe subtracted from, the amount of time that you have to spend. But it is a travesty, and many attorneys have talked about it, but they don't dwell a lot on it, and there's absolutely something that has to be done. So it came out again when I saw read this news item that this gentleman, I'm not calling his name, but that he has been in prison for basically over 20 years. But I read this from Chief Justice Rehnquist, who said this in 1987. In our society, liberty is the norm, and detention prior to trial or without trial is carefully limited exception. It is not supposed to be the rule, but it is an exception. But when you have people that are on remand for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and in the case of this gentleman here, for 24 years, that's a travesty. All right, our caller. Welcome, caller.
Okay,
Yes, Lambert.
Because Nuri, if I was the father of that young man, I'd be smiling all the way to the CCJ.
I would say so, sir.
I should have somebody going to have to pay. When it's on me, you know. I tell you, the day I get charged with something and it wasn't me that I do it, I'm going to court. You know why? Because the one I said it wasn't me. And it kept me there for so long. And then now just tell me go home. No, man. I had a newspaper, I read over publish and send me this, and then I want a front page with some money apology. Because then when I have to go answer for my time on earth, what will I say about that?
Indeed.
4 years and 3 years remand for something that I told you wasn't me from the beginning.
But guess what? You know something, Collymore? This man appears to be a very poor man. His mother, who has believed in him for all those years he was there to meet him when he came out the prison. And basically, they just walk home. But now, if he had Godfrey Smith, or if he had Dean Barrow, or if he had Mr. Courtney as his attorney, do you think that he would just be walking home, sir?
No, sir.
All right, very good. So our justice system, as more as we talk about it being fair across the board, it is not fair. It is skewed towards the rich who can take the matter to court.
I know about something like this before. The the gravity of the situation, he was just thrown up there and forgotten.
Basically. Man, 24 years a long time, brother. A long time.
Brother, you know what's coming, brother? You see down there the language?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But brother, the way I called yesterday and I didn't know I was interrupting something.
No. You added to it.
The reason why I called, a lot of people got this belief that I'm racist or I don't like black people. You know, because I say stuff about my people. And I think they hurt some of my people. And they don't want to say it. They want to pretend everything is hunky-dory, you know?
Yeah.
So, this morning I probably had a bit more. I went to a store. It's a local store. It's a black man. I felt proud. I want to support me. You understand me? Because I like the idea that the shop owner looks like me. You understand me?
Yes.
So when I got to the store, I know I got the neighbor business Canada. I told him I was going to call. I don't want him to take this the wrong way.
Okay.
Right? So when I got there, there was a group of guys outside Santa you know, you guys, and the guy looked at me and said, well, I didn't go in the store because I think he got a bag and then they roll up their phone thing, you know, about 5, 6 sellers. So I said, you want the store? He said, yes. He said, but buddy, I said, you ever gonna watch Johnny and need the Johnny to roll up with everybody outside?
No, you got a back and roll up.
No, gonna be middle night time, I roll up with the middle night time, go for the middle night, front door.
Yeah.
I said, man, I don't get it. Walk like anyone inside, no?
Yeah.
I said, because I can't stand the smell of weed like that, and I only stopped there because I wanted to encourage and support you, but you don't know they got allowance to that stuff, I can't just smoke them and eat. When it's a my business and I live in Denver, why, I hope you understand that I was not putting him down. That wasn't meant for him to feel that I was belittling him, putting him down, or any of the above. What the point I wanted to get across to the guy was that image really matters. When you have somebody that walks to a store and the shift right when they smoke up or things on the shop, you kind of make that dress up. The letter is like,
yes.
Not everybody, but the prejudices that are out there. More than likely, some people might just walk on by. You understand me?
Yeah.
Now, besides that, that's a believe and all. So yesterday I was in Lotus doing my annual, asking everybody how has life been under Taurus and others, if they really win or if they still win and really win and stomach. Well, one single lady, of course I know where I lead them cry to be the wrong way. But while I was coming out the store and paying, the Chinese guy came and asked a young boy who worked at the store was bagging to come. So I want to be white cancel. And I said, what do you want with Steve? Well, he called me. So I went to the kid and I said, young man, let me ask you a question. You work at? Yeah. That's my boss. You can't get vexed, kid. I said, what you could do is realize that you don't want to take me for the rest of your life, or you put the job in a place and then you work for yourself. If you don't want nobody to anyone. But in front of the customer, there is a way you have to behave. If you got a boss, and I know you feel like you want to plug their tent, but this is not the attitude that gets you or not. You get that, man?
Yeah, man.
And I tried to explain to him that that's how you go about it, but I think he was too young for him to get right what I was trying to. Because at that moment he just needed to poke his head. He felt the ego's bruised or something, you understand me? No, the reason why I call him is because these are both black people. And if I really didn't like black people, I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even mention it. You want to know why? Because then I wouldn't care. I actually called because I do think about, I care about my people. Because I watch my people falling. But I do need, I took a little kid that worked for me this week. And the kid worked 1 week. Well, he never did work 1 week. He worked 1 week. The first day we start picked up the next day went, he got fishing, and he started swimming at the pond, and he realized that why I won't adventure this farm. Telling me. So he said, when I took to the guy, Granny, and I'm going to tell me, well, Granny, won't let us sit on my smoke me and listen to the talk, your uncle and drink warm and fight population, and that's why you stay till Friday. I'm not going to go to a Christmas. It was hard for him to cry. But before he left, he borrowed my phone and he put down a thing in Mr. Instagram or Instagram or some damn thing. But I told him, I wanted to turn it down, but I never paid no man. Yesterday this thing started swinging and ringing and suddenly warning and beat that I couldn't ignore it. But I don't even know when we were growing up, our mother started to modesty and manners and decency.
Yeah.
But I don't know when I did that, but it's in what people say. Apparently, all of them they put on their heartbeat in the top. And either they live clean, but they move their lip one. I don't know if it's a trend, but they watch themselves in on the mirror with the phone and lick their lip or like the teeth with the lip. What is it? Well, modesty and moderation are gone through the tool.
Long time, brother. Long time.
They go down what you see the whole country. I mean, they're come on, they want I'm Mr. Nuri. No ask about the music one. The people put on WhatsApp, I tell them one way. The last time I checked, I love that people you try to turn because violence that you want to practice there. No husband in environment. And this is the 40-year-old kids get that in it. So God, what's wrong with, you know, I always make us remember that. The black eyed peas will say, what's wrong with the world now? People acting like they ain't got no now. Damn! You see, and this is where we are at 2025, Mr. Nuri. I hope 2025 is better. And I hope all the believers who think I really don't like this, understand that I do like you. That's why I like you. I will never leave here. I believe that we want change wherever. I have faith that one of my children will start a fire. Or me may start a fire. Will start a fire. Will make me realize that the time means either wake up or we will left behind. You see? And then I don't black man and we say, the door is right in an idea. And they have to be because of somebody else and the action. You know? But I do find it hard and think about what the future of people can do by email, right?
Yeah.
Because the label, the people, the people have put in the thing on the ear. What thing on up on the people who are running around because then they can't be a man and tell it there, you're one totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course I know what you think. Yeah.
And I don't know where they came from. Because I can tell you, people that say, well, let you want to trust one baby. And then they may not come and trust one in. I say, he said, well, I think I look at them, but that's the way the bond, when I get to a certain day, they're going to beat one because, and then you know, to work with you and implement your life. Well, you need to get to the program and try to work with the world, because the world is more meant for you.
Yeah.
You gotta get in the world and try to, you just find a nature corner and love and try to have a better life. Because the world they have to feed you.
Yeah.
You think what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
That's why, my brother, I'm glad to let me on this one.
Yeah, you know, your points are very important, and I could understand how some people would catch feelings if you criticize them and it sounds as though that they you criticize. But really,
I'm pointing out things
yeah, yeah.
going to affect us in the future.
Of course. Yeah, man, look, my brother,
Don't tell me we can't, you know, brother, no one to with it. The other guy worked at Terry, him, sit the Terry, I think. Very black guy. One of the most humblest fellows you could meet and tell a drink or drink. Because when you drink or drink, oh man, not only the product come out fast, of the gas not get out fast. But, cool guy not into the drink. And he told me one day, he look at that, I said, hey, my God, you smell like it. When you got that and man follow or something. So the man said, why is it how it smell good to the car? They don't black, they don't say it's ugly. And all the thing is, they don't want to say that well, but they don't
yeah.
So, you gotta try and keep up and be up because that you are there to work, no? Everybody's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, brother, do it, I go, man.
All right, brother. All right, good. Thanks for the call, my brother. Call him more. Yeah, this issue, you know, when you study history, it says that the people who have a strong moral base and have a value system that is based on a simple principle of doing unto others as you want them to do unto you, a principle that puts importance on family and the responsibility of fathers doing what they're supposed to do and mothers doing what they're supposed to do, and keeping their children as much in line as possible. The research says that those people are more progressive than people who have a kind of a roll dice family structure. No kind of organization in that family structure. Man will that just sperm donors, but not take care of their responsibility and leave the responsibility on the woman. Sometimes she has more than one child that she has to be struggling to take care of. So the possibility of some of or all of her children dropping off after, you know, slipping through the cracks because they don't have that kind of strong moral training. Now, if you go back to old Belize and you talk about black people, we had that moral frame of reference when you go back 50, 60, 70 years in our life. It's only over the last 25, 30 years where we seem to have been induced with this ghetto mentality, the popularity of ghetto, which has come through music and etc., that we have adopted some styles, some behaviors that is rude, crude, no discipline, and if we expect that through that kind of behavior we will build anything structured, we're fooling ourselves. Because history says that you've got to have discipline, you've got to have moral, you have to have values, you have to have those kinds of things in order for you to move forward. So now if we have new Belizeans coming in here, they're poor, they're not going to school, but they have certain moral frame of reference that they are building their children with. They're making sure that their children stay in school and have manners and these things like that. These people will pass us down. So we can't blame them as much as we have to look in ourselves and make sure that we are walking the line as we should. Welcome, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Nuri.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Allah is Akbar.
Always.
Yes, sir. All the time. That is great all the time.
And for those people who don't know what you're saying, so it will sound like it's a code. Allah means the Almighty God, and Akbar means that He is greater than all things. So yes, God is greater.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, back to your PowerPoint about 15 minutes ago, dealing with that guy on the jail after something about 40, 45 minutes in jail. You know, I looked at the news when Ronald Reagan got shot. Right? I looked at the news when Ronald Reagan got the hospital from about 40 years ago or 45 years ago. You know, so I think the news has to do more litigation for as a case files for people as MDO. In America, we call it MDO in the court, a mental disorder offender. You said you work for the CDC in California, and when the MDOs, aka mental disorder offender, cannot go to trial or proceed is court case because of these incoherence, this is the Tuscadero State Hospital. You know, to get some medication, she was going to be treated, and every so often they say the PAS psychology against that lawyer psychology, she is that thorough. You know, we understand that there's rights when it comes to disability and mental order offenders, but you guys have to have access of process with racism. This government, a person off the list just because he's a mental disorder person from a case that's a murder or this. I don't know the case, I just heard about it, but I don't know if he did the murder or he was accessory, but just with the basis, but if he did the murder and a mental disorder, then you would have to wait until he's clear to go to trial. You just got a person off the list because of the mental disorder. You know, none of my friends, none of the friends who can dance back in days, we smoke syrup, cocaine, ecstasy, sometimes they get a murder case. But the first thing they do, they want to play crazy. I'm talking about homeboys in America. They want to play crazy. They want to play MDO, mental disorder offender, so they can not stand their trial. You know, so there's a lot of stuff like that that happens in California when it comes to courts. A lot of like crazy, just not go to trial for a while. But you're going to be in jail. It's going to be treated until they think you're clear. If not, you're going to be for decades.
Yeah, but do you know any example of anybody on remand, which would mean county jail, for 25 years?
Yes. 25 years. Hey, Nuri. Mr. Nuri.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 30s neighborhood in America. I grew up in the Galatians where the anthropology led the Galatians to go to in the 30s, like 36th Street, Jefferson, to Plum Creek area, to St. USC. That's where the Galatians live at, right? So most of us American Galatians, we grew up in gangs. And most of our friends in the first cases, I got homie, he's still MDO after 35 years. You know what I'm saying? So maybe the European laws are different than American laws, but once you MDO, you are not coming out. I don't care. I'll say it's 50 years unless you have a type of attorney, a high attorney, maybe that you can case.
Well, that means the injustice is there likewise. But the ideal situation for a remanded prisoner is that he should only be in there as the prosecution and his attorney, manage their case, and that he's called up by the judge, and his case is dealt with. Now there's cases where you can't put the witnesses, you can't get putting the evidence together, and so you have to wait over that period of time. But if there is an inefficiency in the system, then the individual who suffers deprivation of their liberty because your system is not working efficiently should not be penalized. And I mean, if you hold one man in a prison, he ain't ready for go to trial, he ain't ready for receive a time, but you're not ready for carry on the trial. You're not ready for sentencing. Do you understand?
So was he ready to go to trial?
No. If my understanding is correct in this news report, he was charged in 2000, I should say. And, it's not even a nollie. It's just, the evidence was not there, he's a poor man, so he never get really the kind of support. I think it was, I think it was, what do you call it now? Legal aid that actually came to his aid.
So you're saying his legal due process was violated?
Precisely.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that will be handled. As I said, they're a very humble family, but they would need to get some muscular legal support for it to be taken to the government to receive any compensation for 25 years inside of the prison. Because I mean, he's serving time. He's serving time.
Mr. Nuri, he's getting an attorney now, right? As we speak, he's on the street, and a lawyer couldn't litigate his case for pro bono because if he can find some issues in that case that will make him give some kind of compensation,
I would say so.
A lawyer would have in that case.
I would say so. He's also been diagnosed as being schizophrenic. We don't know. The medical would have to, or the psychiatrist would have to say, is this something developed from his childhood, or has it happened as a result of the trauma of being incarcerated for that length of time? It's just that the criminal justice system seems to be left for attorneys, and most of the attorneys are motivated by their financial issue. They don't have time to look at the social justice issue. Now, I'm happy that we have a social justice attorney as the Attorney General. I happen to have great respect for the Honorable Anthony Sylvester, because he is a human rights lawyer. He has picked up a lot of cases in dealing with this kind of travesty, and now he's the Attorney General. So one would want to say that his office is going to look into these cases to ensure, as well as the Minister of Home Affairs, and the prison falls under his ministry. So we just have not paid any attention to the justice issue. It's like what's going on with these youths on the streets. Look, we should have been paying qualified attention to these youths on the street for over the last 25, 30 years. If we 30 years ago started putting quality programs in place to address that issue, 25 years later, we would not have had it wouldn't have been where it is today. Huh?
Well, you gotta realize, right, that's why when I put myself in a problem with the system, I always hire an attorney, because I'm not gonna let no public defender, aka public defender, take care of my case, because on an average public defender, when the court will open up your file until the court date, so they don't care about your case.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lawyer will stay in your case, but a public defender, a protector,
well, these are poor people, and so, you know, I've made this point several times, that the justice system is skewed in Belize, because if you got the money, take for example what's going on now with Mr. Mike Feinstein, and the government's move to acquire his property. He's got the muscle. He's got muscle. He has a lawyer, very high-level lawyer, expensive lawyer, who can bring results because he was a judge. And then the other side has the former prime minister, who is also a top lawyer. So what you're dealing with there is you know, these are giants, these are elephants. They can deal with one another. But ordinary people like this man, this poor man who has been locked down for 25 years, he don't got no access. And then the man has developed, I don't want to say the poor man because he was accused of a murder. So I know they try to sympathize with him in that sense. I'm trying to say that he should not have been serving time before his time. His time is when he is convicted and he is given time. He has been waiting to get his time, and he's been waiting over 24 years to get his time. That's the travesty I'm talking about.
So that's a violation in this due process.
Indeed. Indeed. Thank you, brother.
Mr. Nuri, one more thing before you leave when you go to jail. that child molester who got time served yesterday, and you child molester up in the city when you say, yo, police have to do better when it comes to child molesters. Even though you killed me, you should be documented. And give us stuff on your file. You're in America, not child molester, but you're sex something out here. You know what I'm saying? You should be monitored.
Yeah.
For the whole year, too. You know what I'm saying? This is about the
Yeah. I am.
child molester of the man.
Yeah.
I'm paying for that child molester stuff. You're the man. Y'all courts, y'all stupid. We just go back out there and do the same thing again. You know what I'm saying? Once we get relaxed, you can relax again, and we're going to try to do it again.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the people that I remember when I worked over there in the prison system for a time, you had to take the child molester, the rapists, you had to take these people and put them into a special section of the prison. Because once the news got out that this was such and such a person, he gets stabbed up.
Oh yeah, trust me, I've been there, Nuri. I've been in prison, trust me. I see that for myself. They got to be up
Yep.
when they get up in jail.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
People would say, you would say inmates don't have morality, but you put a child molester among the ordinary inmates and see how they react to him. Almost like you say, but you're not a criminal. You are a criminal, but I've got morality. I would never do something like that to a child, you know?
Or when you go do a drive-by, you can do a drive-by, you kill a child too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like a child molester in prison.
That's right, that's
You
right.
kill a child on the street, you better go snap, sir.
Indeed, sir. Special. Yeah, take care, sir. All right, my brother. All right, we'll take our next break, come back, and we'll close off, I think. we've come to the end of our program, and we just maybe have one announcement, and then we'll go out with this break. And that is another emphasis on being careful during this coming weekend and the next weekend when it comes to traffic and drinking. As you have seen, the government is expanding the holiday period, so we're going to have extra days. In fact, I think not even be a regular week. So be careful on the road. Belizeans, stand strong and stand firm. Let us thank Daniel. Our brother downstairs is Larry Guerrero. Upstairs we have Harlan Wagner, as well as Christy Flowers, and we thank them all. Stand strong and stand firm, and do the right thing under all conditions. We go out with this break. We gone!